baby. Blah, blah.
Isn't Ember just the cutest? She is so adorable when she comes up and kisses little baby. I've been trying to document every time she does that. I feel like at the end it'll just be nice to do like a compilation and then to have the video of her meeting the baby to look back on as just like such a great memory. I really want to dive into the birth plan. We get a lot of questions on how we're preparing for labor and delivery, and with us delivering a baby that's not ours, there's a lot that we're taking into consideration because it's not just my desires, it's the intended parents and how they see it going, and taking into consideration you know, their needs and how they want their baby to be welcomed into this world. And so I wanted to go over a few things on how we're preparing, kind of like our birth plan, but our desires slash what we are taking from the intended parents as well. So we chose to just send an email with all of our thoughts and desires to get response from them, because then we have it all in writing, and if one of us forgets, we can go back and look at it. So basically how I broke down the email is labor prep, laboring, and then a few like questions, and then like postpartum delivery type of stuff. So without giving away too much information or any identifying factors or what they desire, I'll speak just in general. Just to give you guys an idea of kind of how we're preparing. So, and how like from our past deliveries, but yet looking forward to this delivery as a new one, but still planning in a way that is similar to our past ones. So with labor prep, we wanted to just confirm the date they're coming in town and when they're arriving so that we can be prepared. We can plan for them to come to appointments. They are out of state, which is why they haven't been to any of our appointments. They've been Zoom calling in, which is great for them to be a part of and to keep that recording and to have that. We asked about a hospital tour because typically, I think it's more than 4 weeks before, but I asked if when they're in town, if they want to do a hospital tour, just to make them feel more at peace with it. This for me is a new hospital locally. The last one that I birthed at when we were here was a different one with Canyon. And so this is a new hospital. I'm familiar with it though, but you know, it never hurts to meet people and to get familiar with it that way. On the day when we go into labor, we all know where we're going and it's not like craziness. So I asked if they wanted a hospital tour. I requested physical therapy with this journey because with Canyon, I didn't have physical therapy. I had adductor muscle pain, which is the muscle that like the inner muscle for your leg that pulls it in. And it caused me more pain in labor than actual labor did. And so with Ember, I did physical therapy before and after, and it really helped. So that was something we put in contract ahead of time because I knew that I would need it. So I just mentioned that I would be starting physical therapy, just reiterating that. Reminding them. And then for our past deliveries at 37 weeks, I chose to get my membrane stripped, which is basically the doctor will stick 2 fingers up your cervix and just go like this around. And what it does is it releases the membrane from the uterine lining and helps stimulate or start contractions or start the laboring process. I think I got it from a friend, an idea from a friend, or she mentioned it to me with Canyon, and I asked my OB about it at the time, and he was like, yep, let's do it. I can do it at 37 weeks. Did it at 37 weeks, did it at 38 weeks, and delivered him at 38 and a half. With Ember, I did it 37 weeks, 38, and delivered 38 and a half. So I'm not assuming this pregnancy will be or this labor and delivery will be the exact same, but if I can keep things similar, I would like to. So I brought to their attention that I had done this in the past, that I would like to have my membrane stripped at 37 weeks and 38 weeks with our doctor's approval. Everything up front, I said, this is our desires, but above all, we care about baby's health, my health, and our doctor's recommendations. And so we will always put those 3 things first, regardless of what we think is best or what we want to do. And so mentioned the membrane stripping, and then I said, should I make it to 39 weeks again? Or 39 weeks, I would like to do the membrane stripping again. So just bringing in a little bit of labor prep, a few questions on when they arrive, what to expect, and things like that. That way we all know ahead of time and we're not left wondering. Okay, then when it came to laboring, my 2 births were very similar. When I went into labor, it was around the same time each day. Even though it was, years apart, and the feeling was about the same from admitting to labor, active labor time to delivery. It was almost on track for the hour. And so I said, based off of my history, this is what I expect to happen. Should it be the same? We don't know. But I mentioned I used an app to track all my contractions and to plan out the timing. And when they were about 5 minutes apart, maybe it was 8 minutes apart, 8 minutes apart, I started tracking, and then it was 5 minutes apart, I went to the hospital. So I let them know that I'd use that again, that I'd let them know when my contractions start, keep them up to date. They're going to be staying locally here for the last 4 weeks, from 36 weeks on. And so they'll be close, we'll be in contact, but just kind of let them know that that's what I plan to do, is to labor at home a little bit, let those early contractions start, and then once I get to that 5 minute contraction mark where I can't handle another one, we'll grab our bags and go and let them know, and that we'll just stay in contact as it all happens. So then moving from pre-labor, labor starting to getting at the hospital, this is where like the big meat of the birth plan starts. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to address when it came to the hospital and actual labor and delivery was a hospital bag. We have been getting questions on that too, like what are we bringing? What are the parents bringing? Who brings a hospital bag? So they will bring their hospital bag for their baby, so whatever baby needs, clothes, diapers, pacifier, whatever, that's on them. So I will have my own hospital bag with my stuff. I'm gonna bring my pump, cleaning supplies, nursing pads, haka, gown, makeup, shampoo, all that. And I'm going to do a separate video on what is in my hospital bag. So stay tuned for that, because I think that'll be fun. Just like good perspective to have as a surrogate, what I need versus what I don't need, or what I didn't pack this time because it's not my baby. So I'm excited for that. And before getting into some labor questions, I just wanted them to know that we want them to be a part of as much as they desire to be a part of. I'm a very open person, and this is their baby, and I want them to experience it as closely as they can to their own experience. And so if they desire to be in the room from the beginning to the end, then great. If they just desire to be in the room for the actual delivery part, then great. I did mention if I'm feeling overwhelmed or I need some space, if I ask if they would step out, just giving them a heads up that may be the case. When I labor, I tend to be in the zone and focused, and if a student nurse comes in, or 5 nurses or whatever, like, it is what it is. If you're here in the room and I need you to hold my hand and help me push, you better. If not, you're out of here. So I'm very thankful that I've had great delivery processes, thanks to Dan. My mom's been at both of them. My sister and friend were at the first one. And so I don't expect me to, clam up or get shy or whatever, because I'm just gonna do my thing and let my body do what it needs to and listen to it. And so anyways, I just let them know that they're welcome to be a part of anything that they want to, or as little as they want to. And because of the nature of our journey and our life, just sharing on social media, and again, that's been in contract. So we, from the beginning, before we even matched, let them know that we share our life on social media, and should we match, we ask that you're okay with us sharing our side of things. If you don't want us to share yours, that's fine. And no matter what's going on in life, whether we're renovating RVs or traveling to Florida, or we're surrogates and we're delivering, we're sharing our journey. I feel like it's great to share from your personal experience and the real and raw moments, because people go through different situations or different seasons of life, and if they have no one to look up to or look back on and be like, oh, well, this is how she handled it, let's do this, or this is what happened in this situation, let's do it differently. It's good to have that insight, and if we can share insight, advice, encouragement, then we want to. And so we just asked about the documentation side of things. Should the doctor be okay with it? Should the hospital be okay with it? We're going to document the process of me laboring and delivering without sharing them anything that they don't desire to share, baby. And so we just asked, what are you okay with us sharing? What are you not okay with us sharing? So if you're a surrogate and you do desire to document your journey from the beginning, hopefully it was in contract and you guys have agreed on that. But just reiterate, it's always good to ask again. Remind me what you're okay with, what you're not okay with, because feelings change, and what they were okay with at the beginning, they may not now, or maybe they wanted to be closed off at the beginning, but now they're ready to be open and to share their life more and share their side of things. And so I never want to put them in a situation where they're not comfortable, because it's their life, it's their baby, and it's not my side of the journey to share. But we wanted to just remind them that we would love to share our side of things. So as long as doctor's okay with it, as long as baby's health isn't at risk because I'm stopping to film or Dan's stopping to film my contraction, or as long as I'm not at any risk, then we will continue to document. And so just to continue that authenticity of sharing. And so we just reminded them of that. And then at the end, obviously we don't know how the labor process will go. I didn't mention anything about this, but I probably will in a follow-up email. At this point, we plan to naturally deliver. I didn't have epidurals with the kids. I honestly don't desire to have an epidural, but there's always that thought of, if you have to, will you? What's the plan A, B, C? I think we are on the same page of having the natural delivery, and so but I may just follow up with that, like, hey, should plan B be needed for my pain management? What would it look like? I did mention that with the kids, I did some fentanyl to help ease the pain, that I was on Pitocin. So you just want to reiterate pain meds, whether it's epidural, C-section, or whatever you're doing, just reiterate the plan. But yeah, at the end, I just asked some questions about, when they're going to be in town. Did they want, the kids are in their room playing, sorry if it's loud. Do they want a birth photographer? Do they desire breast milk? Just so that I can have a plan and I know how to prepare. What are their desires for labor and delivery? How do they see things going? Best case scenario. I don't ever want this to be a situation where I'm like, this is how I'm going to deliver. This is how it's going to go. This is what's going to happen. That's not my place. And I feel like that's very disrespectful of the situation. And so I want to make sure that their needs are met and that their desires are met, and that how they see this going is how it plays out. Obviously things can happen, we all know that, but if we can come up with a plan where they feel comfortable and at ease given the situation, then awesome. And then I just asked for, with sharing, are we able to share baby's gender or pictures or anything like that? So again, the more you can ask from the beginning, the better, just to get things, get those answers. So you're not like in the delivery room like, oh, can I take a picture and share it? Or can I do this and this and this? And you all know. And there's no questions. Everyone can be in the moment, be present. They can enjoy their moment with their baby. I can enjoy time with Dan and just recovering and worrying about focusing on myself. And so to answer a lot of questions, or to answer a few questions that we've been getting about delivery, and I'll do an episode obviously about that when it comes time to deliver and how things went, but we're not doing skin to skin. Immediately after baby's born, baby will go to mom and dad, obviously be checked out by the nurses, and they will go to their room. So they will have a separate room. We have already prearranged that, and so, which it's normal to have separate postpartum rooms for the surrogate and the parents. So they'll have their own room with baby, and then I'll have my room, just Dan and I. And so they'll have their moment when they're ready. They can bring baby over to see me. I don't want to be with baby alone. I feel like that's weird. So I just want to have, a little bit of closure to hold baby, to congratulate them, to love them, give them hugs, and then send them on their way. This is their baby, and we knew from the beginning this is their child, it's not ours. So from that point on, I get to focus on myself, recovery, my family, my kids. We have a lot going on in life. We're buying land, we're starting to build a house, we have desires to travel again, and you know, we're gonna continue our life and continue praying for them and supporting them. But once baby's born, that's the goal is met. And so, yeah, we won't, you know, have alone time with the baby. I don't feel like I need that. I've heard recently that some surrogates do, to each their own, whatever intended parents are okay with, but we don't desire that. So they'll have their own room. I won't nurse. People have asked that question. It's not my baby. I don't want that type of connection with them. And I think that just helps with the separation psychologically and mentally and emotionally for me as a surrogate, that there's not that connection. And I think it helps baby too. You know, keep track of who's mom, who's surrogate, and yeah, so hopefully that helps. And so yeah, we'll message or email the intended parents a couple of times just to make sure we're all on the same page. You know, I probably will write things down, because when I'm in the moment of laboring, I kind of want Dan to be like, hey, document this, document this, document this, so that we can share, you know, the real raw moments of what this process is like. I'm really hopeful that it's going to go really well. I'm thankful that our pregnancy has gone so well, that I'm healthy, that baby's healthy. And with my past history of great pregnancies, I'm hopeful that it ends up that way as well. We all know things could happen, and so we are planning and preparing for plan A, B, and C. So I hope that was helpful. If you guys have any questions about birth plan, labor, delivery, whatnot, drop them below, because I will be doing more episodes on labor, delivery, labor prep, postpartum, everything. You guys will see it here. And stay up to date on our social media platforms, because that's where I share the day-to-day behind the scenes stuff. You can follow us on every platform at We Are Dan and Sam, or subscribe and follow here to stay updated. We'll see you guys.